Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at another very strong team for the current Jungle Cup. We're going to take a look at a team with the Talonflame, and we're going to also have a Pokemon here that you most likely did not really expect too much either, which is going to be Superior, which a lot of other people also didn't expect, which is kinda great for us. So, first game here, we encountered a Shadow Victreebel in the lead. A Pokemon that I also did not really think about, but might actually have some play in the current meta, not too sure about it. But they swap out into a Steelix, and you might ask yourself here, why is he not swapping into the Talonflame? Talonflame is such a great Pokemon for this. Be careful with your Talonflame, especially against something like a Steelix or whatever. You kinda want to keep Talonflame for later to sweep endgame. And this is something that I have to say helped out quite a bit with this team and how this team kind of functions. Basically, a lot of times you're going to have some kind of answer to Talonflame in the back. A lot of times people kind of want to bait it out. And here we're going to get out the Lantern for us, which is going to be amazing because now basically the Pokemon that they have left is going to be a Steelix and a Victreebel, both of which going to be completely dead against the Talonflame. And so here we will be able to basically align ourselves. I can stop immediately because I know that I can just easily farm them down and we can move on to the next opponent. So, the cool thing about Superior was not really that viable for quite a long time, but nowadays it's definitely a very good Pokemon to use, as this thing is going to be great in this meta. There are a lot of Water-type Pokemon, there are a lot of neutral matchups for you, like Steelix, like the Vigoroth, that this thing actually has a lot of play. Of course, the lead of something like a Skarmory would be still a little bit tricky. Skarmory is still available in this cup, but still a very good Pokemon to use. Here I decided to go into my Talonflame against the opponent's Mandibuzz. Can be a mistake, doesn't really have to be a mistake, but I don't know, like I felt like the matchup for me here is a little bit better than the Vigoroth one. Could be wrong, of course. Vigoroth has access to the move Rock Slide, which is kind of great for this matchup alone, but I still kind of felt like this was the correct play to go for. But let's see if this was actually the correct play to go for. As we can knock them out, they're going to have a Dragonite in the back, and now we are kind of screwed, right? Like, this is going to be a very, very difficult for us to still win this one, and I think this is going to be it as well. So as you're gonna see here, this is going to be a superpower and we're going to sadly go down. But yeah, this team might actually have a little bit of an issue against something like a Dragonite or something like an Altaria. You're still usually kind of fine with both the Vigoroth as well as the Talonflame against those. Like, definitely Dragonite going to be the worst one compared to Altaria. Against Altaria can still hit quite decently a lot of flights against it. So here we're gonna see one issue for, of course, the Vigoroth. We're not really gonna have any charge move that's going to hit the Steelix, but we can still try our best here. Just gonna go for the Body Slam spam, and we're still gonna get them fairly low here. Of course, would be a matchup where I rather would have my Talonflame against. But still, we might even be able to realign, because this Psychic Fangs is not going to knock us out. We can go for another charge move, and even if they're going to survive this just barely, we still get our fast move damage in before them, but they decide to use a shield, which is smart, as they can now realign. We're kinda gonna be screwed here. We can still swap out into our Talonflame, but they have a Vigoroth on the back, and so I decide to go for the Fly. Fly is going to allow us to do more damage than a Flame Charge does, but we have to hope that they decide to no shield, but they decided to use a shield, so I have to call a bait. And it worked out, and this is amazing, because now we can actually still reach a Flame Charge, which I should have not done. I should have went for the Fly here instead, but it doesn't matter, we can still knock them out, and as we still have a shield left, we're going to be able to win this game. Next opponent, amazing Need Force, and this is something that's going to happen quite often to you. Like, something like Altaria or the Dragonite, at least at the current time, is not as common as something like Steelix is around, for example. So a lot of times you see like those water and ground type Pokemon, especially also in the lead. And so here we are very prepared for this. We're going to be able to just go for the full farm down now as well against the opponent's Vigoroth, just aligning ourselves. Like, I don't really care about the damage here on this one, but I just want to keep my grass type against the water and ground type and still have my Talonflame in the back to sweep end game. As we will see the Body Slam connecting, I can go for another one, and so basically the opponent's Whiscash is already in a range where they're going to go down to a few Wine Whips, which is going to be great. But also, one more thing about Talonflame is that against those Mud Boys, you're actually still kinda fine. Like, a lot of times you can actually win against them, which is kind of mad. Here we will see the Steelix coming in, which is fine for me. I can just go ahead, go for a charge move, either get the damage or get the shield. I take both, and we can just go for one, like, yeah, Incinerate here. You're gonna see the damage. Incinerate is just mad. Like, it does so much damage against the Steelix, and we can just go ahead and go for a shield. I think this is actually the team that I showcased prior as well, which is kind of funny, but as you can see here, Flame Charge is coming through, going to be able to buff our Incinerate, and this is going to be crucial because now only one more Incinerate is what we need to knock them out, and one more charge move would come through, but the opponent decides to forfeit instead. Steelix. Steelix is going to be a great lead for us. What we kind of want to do here is we kind of don't actually want to win this directly because our backline is very decent against it. What we kind of want to do is kind of get some damage onto them, but the opponent swaps out anyway into their Toxic Croak. I'd rather go ahead and try to get a shield here first, because then I can just farm them down, use one shield, and just go for the full farm down here basically with the Talonflame, which is going to allow us to get some energy, and unless they're going to have the Lantern in the back, we're going to be fine. And this is the thing about Talonflame in this meta right now. Basically, there's only Lantern that is completely walling you. Like, there's nothing really else that's completely walls you, so you're always going to be able to get some nice damage onto opponents if you get some energy. And so, like, I would imagine after this video that Talonflame is going to become way more common, because I have basically not seen a single one yet, and this Pokemon is so overpowered. So definitely, if you have a Talonflame, try it out. Like, it's so good in the current meta. Like, here the opponent was able to catch a move on Steelix. Do I really care? I don't really think so. I can still go for a fast move, I can still keep my energy for the Vigoroth later on, and I can just go for the full farm run with my own Vigoroth. Like, this team was so amazing to play. I think I went 8-2 total with that, but we can just go for the full farm run here against the opponent as well here again. But yeah, Talonflame, if you have not tried it yet, definitely something I would recommend you to try out. It is such a strong Pokemon. Here we can just go for the body slam spam. The opponent has no chance of winning this one, and we can just move on to the next opponent after this body slam is going to knock them out. So, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to have Superior against Mandibuzz. Horrible lead for us. We swap out into our Vigoroth. Vigoroth is always going to be a safe swap, because you want to get out those potential water types. And this is something that happens quite a lot, because they kind of want to get rid of their water types against us here. They're going to swap into them. And here we're going to see already why. We're going to see the Whiscash coming in. Going to be a purified Whiscash. Maybe it's running return, and we don't know, but we're going to get a shield. And this is all I want. I don't care about anything else. I got a shield. I'm happy. I'm totally happy with that. As even if they're going to have another water type in the back, we might still be fine with our, with our Talonflame in the back. But we have to see here, we can still get a body slam off, which is actually kind of unfortunate, because here the opponent actually kind of did this on purpose as well, because we don't really get a lot of farm with our own Superior. But what we do now is we're gonna swap out into our Talonflame already, because it's gonna give us some extra energy, and they swap out into their Quagsire. And now we are going to be in a scenario where we have a shield advantage, where we're going to have the Talonflame hitting a fly against them, and we just still do so much damage against them. Issue is that Awkward Tail is such a fast move to get to that, we're going to still have to hope that we're going to be able to win this game here by farming them down, but it's going to be a tough one. And I don't know how much energy the Whiscash has as well, because they went out with a little bit of energy here. They swap into the Mandibuzz. I can go for the Flame Charge, which is amazing for me, so our Talonflame is in prime position to sweep the entire team here. As you're gonna see, the Mandibuzz is going to have to take another fly as well, and this is a cool thing as well about Talonflame. If you go for one Flame Charge, you can go for 2 flies back to back basically afterwards, just with like 2 extra fast moves, which is really great. So here, as you can see, they can go for the Dark Pulse. I can go straight for the fly. We are buffed. This should basically knock them out, and so Talonflame was able to sweep the entire team here. It is so mad how strong this Pokemon is. Another Whiscash lead, amazing for me. They swap out into a Pidgeot, and this is something that is kind of wild, as here, this matchup is pretty bad for us. I not really expect this. Maybe it would have been better for me to go into my own Talonflame. I have no idea, but Feather Dance especially, like, look at the damage that we got onto our Vigoroth. I was not too sure if I would be able to reach another charge move after this, and also with a debuff basically, I'm not too sure if this is going to really matter. And here I guess that Gust variant of Pidgeot has quite some play, because now they were able to realign. I can still knock them out and still have a shield advantage, but I have to basically hope that I'm going to be fine with my Talonflame. And now it's going to depend on what they're going to have here. They're going to have, of course, the Steel type of Skarmory in the back, and now we just have to hope that 2 flies is going to be enough to knock them out. And we have to hope that they are not going to go for the bait here. If they go for the bait, they can most likely reach 2 charge moves here, and they decide to go for the bait. I had to call it most likely, but I didn't. And so this was a mistake by me, I guess, because the Scald is going to get me too low, and we're going to lose this game. This was a winnable way, like, for sure there, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the next opponent. Next one coming through, we're going to have a Vigoroth in the lead. We can just stay in here. What you kind of want to do here is you kind of want to let the move go through from the opponent, go for 1 charge move and swap out. Like, you kind of want to swap out. You don't really want to stay in this matchup anymore. You kind of still want to keep your Superior at this health range, because it's going to allow you to deal with most of the water type Pokemon still, while you can secure some energy on your own Vigoroth while realigning as well, which is going to be great. But they swapping out into a double, and I was like, You have 2 normal types already. Like, what are the chances of having 3 normal types here in total? But I was like not really thinking about what could be the 3rd normal type. But yeah, we're gonna see here that we're gonna get 2 shields from the opponent, but they get a ton of energy. For me, we have 2 shields, the opponent has 3 Pokemon. We're just gonna go for the sweep with our Talonflame. This is going to be our best bet for this game. Let's see, the opponent goes straight for the next charge move, which is going to be great. And so we're going to be able to let this move go through. We can go into our own Talonflame, and we can go for most likely the full farm down. They could have a wild charge, and so I decided to use a shield here and then try to still see what they have in the back. It's going to be a Dunsparce. This is going to be an issue here because this Pokemon has, of course, coverage with a rock type fast move as well as a rock side as well. And I don't know if I will be able to reach like another charge move if I go for another fast move because they generate energy really, really fast. So I go straight for the fly, knock them out. In comes now the opponent's next Pokemon, which is going to be, let's find out, the Double. So I have to hope that this is not a wild charge. If this is a wild charge, it's game over. It's a body slam. And so we can go for the full farm down. We have a fly stored in Talonflame, swept the entire team from the opponent again. Like, this thing is just so overpowered, man. Let's move on to the next opponent. So many Whiscash leads. Not too surprised about this. We're gonna see the Steelix swapping in against us here as well, which is totally okay for me. Again, you kind of want to not give up your Superior early, but you also don't really want to give up your Talonflame early. So what we do here is we're just going to let this move go through. It's going to be a Psychic Fangs. I can swap out and I can just get some energy on my Vigoroth. I'm totally happy about this, as this is basically the perfect way of playing this. We will see here that the Psychic Fangs is going to drop our defense, but we get a ton of energy, and so we can use the energy on the Whiscash, which is definitely coming back in. And we're going to be in a great spot because basically there should be only like 1 Pokemon that might be scary for us, which would be the Dragonite. Dragonite would be a little bit tricky, but anything else we're going to be fine against. So like if it's a Vigoroth, we should be fine. If it's I don't know, like another Steel-type Pokemon or like the Skarmory, we should be fine. So, like, doesn't really matter what they have here. They go for the Mud Bomb anyway, and it can still survive, but I don't get to another charge move, so I can swap out into my Superior. It's going to be a Whimsicott, and we can say goodbye to the opponent. Next one coming through, it's going to be a Lantern in the lead. Again, like, so many water types right now, so like Superior is really great. But this team kind of struggles against Gliscor. I decided to use a shield here just because I expect it's going to be the Aerial Ace. And speaking of Aerial Ace, I'm going to decide to go for the same move as well here. But it's going to be a little bit of a tough one. I still have to keep my Superior alive, of course. And I kind of don't outspeed them, so I'm catching the move here onto my own Vigoroth, which is hopefully the best play that I can go for. The opponent goes for their own Aerial Ace. I will be able to survive another one, but they would be able to farm me down afterwards. So I have to hope they let this move go through, and they do let this move go through. But still, I kind of have to align myself, so I decided to use a shield here just to be sure. It's going to be an Aerial Ace, which we most likely still would have been able to survive. But it's going to be a Water Gun variant of Lantern. That's kind of interesting. As we will see here, the Body Slam going to connect, going to be able to do some decent damage. We can go for another charge move. This is going to also connect against the opponent, going to do some decent damage, which we didn't even see. But they're going to have a Gligar in the back. And this was basically why I decided to go for the Gligar review, which I did yesterday. Those battles were, of course, early on when the cup was just live, where Gligar was still available for no reason at all. But can we still win this game here? It is going to be a close one. We will find out shortly. It is definitely a very, very close one. Now, as the opponent can go for the Aerial Ace, I have to overfarm by quite a bit here, I think. Oh no, I actually go straight for the Aerial Ace with my Superior. It wasn't the right call. I'm not too sure. We're not going to be able to knock them out, but we can farm them down, which is going to be great. As now the Lantern comes in, they can still go for a charge move. Can we still win this game, though? Water Gun Lantern is going to go for a Thunderbolt. We can still survive and still get to the Grass-type move, knocking them out, winning the final game. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.